I lay there on my own couch in the dark, staring at the ceiling, my heart beating a little too loud in my chest. The clock on the wall ticked past 11, and every creak from the kitchen made my breath catch. She was still awake, moving around like she belonged there, and I shouldn't have let her stay. My name is Elena, I'm 38, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had finally built a quiet, safe little life for myself after the divorce. Just me and my cat Milo, in this small 2-bedroom apartment on the edge of the city. The kind of place where the streetlights bleed softly through the curtains at night and the rain sounds like a whisper against the windows. I liked it that way, peaceful, predictable. But then Sarah happened. She worked 2 desks down from me at the accounting firm, always smiling in meetings, always the first to offer help with coffee or copies. When she told me her boyfriend had thrown her out, sobbing in the break room with mascara running down her cheeks, I felt that familiar pull, the one that says, "You know what it's like to be alone and scared? Don't be cold." So I offered her my couch, just for a few nights, until she found something else. "I won't be any trouble, Elena," she'd said, squeezing my hand. Her fingers were colder than I expected. That first night, Milo had curled up on my lap like always, purring while I read. But the moment Sarah stepped inside with her suitcase, something shifted. He froze, his tail puffed up, and when she tried to pet him, he hissed. Not a little warning sound, a deep, guttural hiss that made the hair on my arms stand up. I laughed it off then. He's just shy with new people. But he didn't stop. Now, 3 weeks later, Milo spends most of his time under my bed. He only comes out when Sarah leaves for work. And even then, he watches the door like he's waiting for something terrible to walk back through it. I should have listened to him. Tonight, the rain is steady outside, that soft drumming that usually helps me sleep. But sleep isn't coming. I'm pretending to be asleep on the couch, a thin blanket pulled up to my chin, while Sarah moves quietly in my kitchen. The refrigerator door opens with a soft click. A glass clinks against the counter. Then silence. The kind of silence that feels too heavy, like someone is listening back. My breath caught when I heard her footsteps pause near the living room entrance. I kept my eyes closed, trying to breathe slow and even. She's just getting water, I told myself. She's been through a lot. But something inside me had started whispering weeks ago, a quiet warning I kept pushing away. You see, at first it was small things, little moments that didn't quite add up, like how her stories about the breakup kept changing. One night she said her ex had cheated, the next she said he was controlling. Then she mentioned, almost casually, that he had been scared of her when she got angry. I didn't think much of it then. People say messy things when they're hurting, but the way she smiled when she said it, that small, satisfied curve of her lips in the lamplight, it made my stomach tighten. And Milo, sweet, gentle Milo, who's never hissed at anyone in his life, not even the loud neighbors' kids. He knows something I don't. Animals always do. I didn't understand it then. That's when something changed inside me. I started watching her when she didn't know I was looking. The way her face went completely still when she thought I was busy on my laptop. The way she'd stare at my things, my photos, my jewelry box, even the little clay mug my niece made me, like she was deciding which ones she liked enough to keep. Once I came home early and found her in my bedroom, not doing anything wrong exactly, just standing there, holding the silver necklace my mother gave me before she passed. She put it down quickly when she saw me, laughing softly. "Sorry, it was so pretty I couldn't help myself. You have such good taste, Elena." Her voice was warm, always warm when I was watching. But I heard her on the phone 2 nights ago, when she thought I was asleep. That voice had dropped, cold, sharp. "I told you I'd handle it. Stop calling me." Then a soft, dangerous laugh that made my skin crawl. I should have asked her to leave right then, but I didn't, because part of me still wanted to believe I was just being paranoid, that lonely divorced woman seeing shadows where there were none. The divorce had left me fragile in ways I didn't like admitting. My ex-husband had always said I was too sensitive, too quick to read too much into things. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was making this all up. The rain picked up outside, tapping harder against the window. I heard Sarah's footsteps moving closer, slow, careful, like she was testing the floorboards. My heart started hammering so loud I was sure she could hear it. The silence between us felt alive now, dangerous. She stopped right beside the couch. I could feel her presence there in the dark, standing over me. I kept my eyes shut tight, forcing my breathing to stay steady. 1, 2, 3. The scent of her perfume, something sweet and heavy, drifted over me. Too close. Then she whispered something, so quiet I almost missed it. "You're too nice, Elena." My blood ran cold. She lingered there for what felt like forever. I could hear her breathing, slow and calm, like she was deciding something. Finally, her footsteps moved away, back toward the kitchen. I waited until I heard the soft click of her bedroom door, the guest room that used to be my little reading space, before I let myself exhale. That's when the tears came, hot and silent, slipping down my cheeks. I let a stranger into my home, into my life, because I was lonely and wanted to feel like a good person, because after the divorce I was so tired of empty rooms and quiet nights. But now my cat hides from her. Now I pretend to sleep on my own couch in my own apartment, listening to a woman I don't really know move through my space like it's hers. I can't kick her out without proof. That's what I keep telling myself. But what kind of proof do I need when my gut is screaming? I remembered something my grandmother used to say: trust the animals before you trust the people. Milo had never led me wrong, not once. That night, after she went to bed, I finally got up. My legs felt shaky as I walked to my bedroom and knelt down. Milo was there, deep under the bed, eyes wide and shining in the dark. I reached out slowly, and for the first time in days, he let me stroke his head. He was trembling. "I'm sorry," I whispered to him. "I should have listened." He pushed his face into my hand, purring weakly, and in that small, warm sound, I felt the truth settle heavy in my chest. Sarah wasn't the victim. She never had been. I found the messages the next morning when she was in the shower. She'd left her phone charging in the living room. I didn't even feel guilty for looking. Not anymore. The texts from her ex were desperate. "Please stop contacting me. I'm scared of you. Leave me alone." She had been the one sending threats, the one who had destroyed things in his apartment, the one who had made his life hell until he finally changed the locks. And now she was here, in my home, smiling at me over morning coffee like we were friends. Something shifted inside me that morning, a quiet strength I hadn't felt since before the divorce. I wasn't going to be her next story. I wasn't going to ignore the warnings anymore. The ones from my cat, from the heavy silences, from that cold whisper in the dark. I told her she had to leave by the weekend. I made up an excuse about my sister coming to stay. She smiled that same warm smile, but her eyes didn't match. "Of course, Elena, I understand." But I saw the way her fingers tightened around her mug. Now I lie here again, another late night, rain still falling. She's in the other room, and I'm counting the hours until she's gone. My heart still races when I hear her move. Part of me wonders if she'll really leave quietly. Part of me is already planning what I'll do if she doesn't. I keep thinking about that moment on the couch, her standing over me in the dark, the way the silence felt alive between us. Tell me honestly, would you have done the same? Let her stay because your heart felt too soft? Or would you have trusted that first hiss, that first wrong feeling? Was I wrong for wanting to believe the best in someone, or was I just human? I don't know anymore, but I do know this: I won't ignore the warnings again. Not from Milo, not from myself. If you're watching this and you've ever had that feeling, that quiet, creeping sense that something isn't right with someone in your life, I see you. You're not crazy. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is listen to the fear. If this story touched something in you, if it made you feel a little less alone in the middle of the night, please subscribe. There are more stories here, quiet ones, true ones, the kind we don't always tell out loud. And if you're still here, thank you for listening. I think I'm going to be okay, but I'll let you know what happens next because somehow I don't think this is quite over yet.